Hello, everyone, and welcome back at Ski Ski. I appreciate you tuning in today. We're going to do another round of not attacks, but more of just a discussion on the game itself. This isn't for people who've played for a long time. You can watch it nonetheless. This is for people who are new to Empires and Puzzles and or played for a little bit and have a lot of questions. I played for several years now, and I still have questions that pop up. We did a round explaining the basics of each of the positions last time. This time we're going to focus on war basics, understanding, knowledge, and talk about tanks specifically and colors. Someone had asked a question saying, hey, what color tank should I use? And that varies depending on the situation. So let's move ahead and check out a few options and ideas. I'm going to run through each of the colors. We'll start with green, and we'll talk a little bit about the tanks. And these are opinions. I mean, in the game, there's dozens and dozens of tanks of each color. And a lot of it is your preference and the luck of the pulls. I mean, I can tell you right now, I've wanted a Black Knight forever, but I don't have it. Thus, I don't have the red tank Black Knight. So moving on with that, we'll focus on green this time. And I pulled out just several after conversations with some of my Alliance members and other information. And we'll start with one of my favorites, which would be Heimdall. I used to call him Hemsdale back in the day. He's an Asgardian. Those of you watching any of the Avenger movies, you'll see him in that. And Heimdall is a very powerful warrior, and he can be a great tank. It's somebody that you'll see when you're looking at tanks that has a lot of life and a lot of defense. Attacking's good too, but your tank mainly is to be able to take a hit. You want somebody to prolong the time so that your other members of your other warriors on that team can start activating their specials and then interact with each other. So when you're looking at a tank, you want someone that can prolong that. And Heimdall, to me, with him having a lot of strength, health and defense, as well as being a healer and a resurrector, and gives a plus 30 to attack. To me, that's phenomenal. That's why I think he's a great tank for the color green. Some other options, Tellura. I have Tellura. I've had her for a long time. In fact, they had to take her down a peg because when they originally put her out there, she was way too powerful. She was just way out of the league, so they actually had to downgrade her a little bit. But she's still very good. She puts out minions. She does a little bit of healing. Again, she has defense and health. And, minion makers can be great tanks if they're nuisances. They're putting out little blockers that you got to get through to get to the warrior and stuff. So Tellura would make another good green tank. Another tank that I use on my personal team, I don't see a lot of people using this one, would be Horgal. Horgal's on my green attack team as well. For me, Horgal's a great tank for the fact that for the life. He is, in my eyes, and I don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong, he's one of the most life characters out there. Mine, sits, close to just under 2,000 for life, which is phenomenal. And then the defense isn't bad. So between the combination of health and defense, or life and defense, he's going to prolong it. He's not going to take 3 shields and go down. He's going to take it so that you got to hit him with several attacks before he goes. And hopefully by that time, himself or his teammates have activated their abilities. So he's another good tank. A few other ones we talked about. I have the regular Catelyn, which I don't care for. No offense, that's just my opinion. But there's also costumed Catelyn. Costume Catelyn is, I can tell you for fighting, when she's across the way, I'm trying to get rid of her. When she activates her special dodge, yikes. Now the whole team is avoiding specials. And nothing like ramping up your guys, getting their specials going, and throwing them in the garbage, not being able to use them because the opposition's dodged them. So she is also a great tank. She also does some damage to other people. So she does a little bit of everything when it comes to attacking and then the specials. So great job with that. And then the last one I'll mention for green is Kashrik. He's, I think, a 4-star healer, but him in his costume form kind of acts like a Heimdall, but on the 4-star level. So now there's lots of other green characters that could be used as tanks. I mean, I know there's a Garjamal, she's just a beast. When she swings her spiked ball, I mean, she's just killing guys left and right. But usually, like I said, a good tank would be strong or a lot of life, good defense, and then maybe a special that helps too, that makes, pumps up your defense or reduces their attacks. Somebody who's going to prolong it and protect your team. That's your protector, the tank. So, all right, let's move on to another color. We're going to be moving on to the color blue. Blue tanks are interesting. I pulled out 5 to talk about, and we'll start with the first one, which is Krampus. I don't have Krampus. He's like the Black Knight. I'm hoping one day I can, but I can tell you, when I see him across the way, yikes, he's just a pain in the butt. I mean, his ability to summon a minion is one thing. So you got these little elves running around. You got to pick them off. But what makes it amazing is, he's got that strong life, strong defense, and then he activates his special, and that's Taunt. And if you've never seen Taunt, you have your game plan mapped out. I'm going to take out this guy, this guy, this guy. If Krampus is there, that's the guy you're taking out, because he activates that Taunt. Taunt makes you attack him and only him, and everyone is being protected. So what is a tank's job? Protect the other guys. So he is the epitome of what a tank should be. So that's Krampus. The next one I want to talk about would be Raphael. Raphael is a healer. He's good life, strong defense, what you want. And then on top of that, he's any of your warriors that are below 50%, he heals up to 50%. So right there, he's like, okay, if you're dying, you're on the death's doorstep, boom, I'm taking you up to 50%. And then on top of that, he cleanses all your ailments from your allies, as well as gives you a certain amount of life over a certain amount of turns. So over 4 turns, depending on where you have Raphael, he gives you a little bit of life each turn. So, hey, great thing. He's protecting you, he's healing you, he's cleansing you of your ailments. And if you have more blue guys, he has a elemental link for ice allies. Give 30% defense against special skills for 4 turns too. So another great idea for a blue tank. So next one that I have up there is Richard. Richard, another strong warrior. His life is pretty good. His defense is very strong. And, he does damage to one target and minor to the adjacent targets. He also, he attacks his enemies, and the enemies get a minus 34% or a small amount of reduction on their attack for 4 turns as well. Depends on where you have your guy. So again, great tank. Nothing too elaborate or too special, but a nice to have on your team. One more we'll talk about, which is a minion maker we talked about before. Frost. Wow, he's just come through the ranks, and I hear a lot of chatter about him, even our alliance. I've got him already emblemed up and limit broke. He's got a great life, very strong, great defense. He actually has a great attack too, which is amazing, for a minion maker. He summons minions out, and then he gives those minions an extra percentage increase on their attack and stuff. So he also increases your mana speed for other blue heroes. So again, his mana ability is already fast. So it's a great person to have as a tank. He's got those what you need. And the last one I'm going to talk about, which you've also seen up and around as a tank position, would be Agar. I just got him not that long ago. I've tried wrapping him up as quickly as I can. What he does is he takes the damage that anyone would get and spread it equally between all your members. So when he casts his special, if one of your guys is getting targeted, instead of they taking like 500 points, it would divide it up and do 100 to each. That's a great ability. He also gives all your allies 35% defense for 3 turns. He also, all the allies heal 100% of the damage dealt, or normal damage dealt to them over the next 3 turns. Wow, so some of the damage they're taking, they're healing back as well. And then he recovers health at a certain percentage for any other blue heroes on the board. So, again, great tank abilities. Now, again, I know there's dozens of other great blue tanks out there. And you got to look. I mean, they make new guys all the time. You're like, wow, this guy's great. And sometimes tanks are special because of the guys they're with that accompany them to the battle. So you have to keep that in mind too. So with that, those are the few I'm going to talk about with blue. I know there's others, and we're going to move on to the next color. All right, guys, we've done green, we've done blue, and now we're on to red. Red is the next set of tanks we're going to talk about. Red usually means fire, means burn, means attack. It's aggressive, it's color. So let's see what we've got for the 5 choices we chose for red to show you today with tanks. We'll start off with the one I've always wanted and never gotten, and that's Ares. Man, that guy's just out of my grasp. It doesn't matter what I do, I can never get him in the polls. I'll pull Bane 10 more times before I get Ares. But Ares is true tankish. For a while here, he was the tank people wanted. There's other ones out there that are, just as good in the red category. But, when you look at Ares, he's got a good, strong life. He's got a good defense, and he's got many things to help and give with his special abilities. The caster nearby allies get, a percentage of attack for 4 turns, and it's a good percentage, usually 50-some% or above. The caster nearby allies get 36% for critical chance for 4 turns, and he helps regenerate allies' life. So a healer, a protector, someone who's going to take the hit so that the other guys in the team can do their job. So Ares, another great tank, especially in the red category. We'll move on to the next one. I talked about it earlier. I dropped his name in. I said Black Knight. Black Knight, he's a red hero. He's a red tank. What a nightmare. When I see him there, it's like, oh, not him again. I got to get rid of him before he activates. The caster has 50% chance to drop any received damage, 1 to 2, 3 turns. He also does the taunt. Remember I mentioned that before? He taunts. So when he activates, you can't hit anything else. You've got to attack him. And all allies get a 45% attack and things like that. So, that's the thing you want to have on your tank. Black Knight, man, just another great option for a tank for red. Another one that my alliance had talked about, and I don't have ramped up. I do have her. It's Elena. I love her. I think she's great. But in costume form, they say she's the person to have as a tank. And the ability is she deals, a large percent or medium percentage damage to all enemies. But then the caster and nearby allies get the ability to counter up to 155% of damage received for 5 turns. 5 turns. So her and the neighboring guys have that counter ability. So you hit her, boom, she hits back even harder. So, and she has a good life, a medium to high defense. Not as high as other ones, but still very good option for a tank. Another one who I don't have, he's like the Black Knight Ares. I've tried so many pulls, and is Aslar. Never received an Aslar, and even more so Aslar in the costume state. Aslar in the costume state gives 100%, 170%, or medium percent damage to people, and then he's doing the burn on top of it. He has a what do you want to say? A medium to high life and defense, so it makes him so that he can do the job, weather the storm. He hits hard, that's your tank, So Aslar in costume form, another great option for tank. And then the last one I wanted to talk about, who I was so excited, and when I got her, it was Elizabeth. Elizabeth is an amazing tank. She does damage of medium to all enemies. She puts a fiend out. A fiend then does a damage to the person who has the fiend on every turn. A small amount, but it's still just pecking away at them. And it takes up a slot. It kind of clogs their spots up for minions, as well as it keeps them from gaining life. So yes, you're talking about a great option for tank. She has, a very good amount for health. Defense is solid, and she's slowing the opposition down by keeping them from healing, doing a little bit of damage, and like I said, allowing your teammates to get their abilities going. So, I mean, those are some great options for tanks when it comes to red. So. And again, I know there's a lot out there. I love Nadezhda. We won't even bring her up, but I love her. She got my limit break. She's another option for tank. There's other ones out there. So these aren't the only ones you could have. Please understand that. I'm just using a few as an example to use as a demonstration of what you kind of look for, because there's so many out there. And again, I mentioned earlier, it's the combination of how they go with each other. I like to pair up them. I don't see many people doing this, but myself, I love putting 2 Hemdalls out or 2 Elenas out. So now it's just not 1 or 2. They're doubling the efforts. They become even more powerful. But that would be using one of them out of a tank position. But they're that just creative characters and stuff like that. But again, as we go into the next part 2, we're going to do the last 2 colors of yellow and purple, and we'll also talk a little bit about how you and your alliance come up with ideas for what tank to choose. And a lot of it is a conversation, trial and error. A lot of it depends on the war bonus. I mean, fast attack grants your defense warriors, makes them all fast. So those slow and very slow guys now are fast. I mean, usually that was the thing that made them, questionable to use. But, you put somebody in a fast state of mana, holy cow. And so that's also things you have to think about. And we'll talk about that more in part 2. So, well, I appreciate you sitting through this today. And hopefully this helped a little bit, give you a little bit of idea on what you're looking for tanks, especially in those first 3 colors. We'll like I said, talk about it more in the second set. And, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Check out some other of my content on Ski. Appreciate you tuning in. And like always, this is Ski out.